All right, ready for a deep dive.
Always.
Today's going to be a wild ride,
Yeah.
family drama, divine encounters, and a legacy that, well, it echoes for generations. We're looking at excerpts from Genesis 35,
Okay.
straight from the New King James Version.
Right.
I can't wait.
What's so captivating about this chapter is how it reveals the birth pangs of a nation.
Yeah.
We're seeing the foundation of a people who will go on to impact history in huge ways.
I like how you put that. This chapter really sets the stage.
It does.
We've got a journey back to Bethel,
Right.
a pivotal name change, the bittersweet arrival of new life,
Oh, yeah.
heartbreaking loss, and even the passing of a patriarch.
Wow. That's a lot.
There's a lot to unravel.
So much.
It's all interwoven so beautifully.
It really is.
Like it's a microcosm of the human experience,
Yeah.
reflecting the joys,
Right.
the sorrows,
Yeah.
the deep-seated longings that I think connect us all, regardless of time or place.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's start with this command from God
Okay.
for Jacob to return to Bethel.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a homecoming,
Right.
a return to a place
Uh-huh.
that holds deep meaning for him.
Yeah.
What is the significance of Bethel in Jacob's story?
Well, Bethel's incredibly symbolic.
Okay.
It's where Jacob had that powerful vision of angels ascending and descending a ladder,
I remember that.
like a direct connection between heaven and earth.
Wow.
So this journey back isn't just a physical relocation.
Right.
It's a spiritual pilgrimage,
Ah.
a call to reconnect with the divine promises that were first revealed to him in that very spot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm curious about the instruction
Yeah.
for Jacob's household to purify themselves
Mm-hmm.
and get rid of any foreign gods before they go to Bethel.
Right.
What's the deeper meaning behind this?
I think that's a crucial detail.
Yeah.
It points to a pivotal shift in Jacob's spiritual journey. Up until this point, there might have been a blending of different beliefs and practices within his household,
Right.
but like a holdover from the cultural influences of the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But now he's making a conscious choice
Uh-huh.
to embrace the God of his forefathers exclusively.
It sounds like he's drawing a line in the sand,
Totally.
saying this is who we are, this is
Yeah.
what we believe,
Right.
and we're letting go of anything that contradicts that.
Exactly.
Oh.
It's about establishing a clear identity,
Yeah.
a commitment to the one true God.
Hmm.
And this purification ritual emphasizes the seriousness of that commitment.
Right.
They're not just changing their physical appearance,
Right.
they're preparing their hearts and minds for a renewed covenant with God.
So they arrive at Bethel,
Mm-hmm.
builds an altar,
Yeah.
and then boom, God appears.
He does.
Not only does he reaffirm his covenant with Jacob,
Right.
but he also changes his name to Israel.
Huge moment.
What is the significance of this name change?
I know it seems like much more than just a new label.
Yeah, it is.
This is a defining moment, not just for Jacob personally,
Correct.
but for all his descendants.
Hmm.
The name Israel is often interpreted as he who struggles with God,
Oh, wow.
or God prevails.
Okay.
It reflects Jacob's own personal journey,
Mhm.
his wrestling with faith,
Right.
his questioning,
Yeah.
his moments of doubt, and even defiance.
Do you think the name change acknowledges that struggle,
Yeah, I
that wrestling with faith
Mm-hmm.
as a necessary part of the journey?
I think you're onto something there.
Oh,
It's like God is saying, I see your struggles,
Yeah.
I acknowledge your humanity,
Huh.
and yet I still choose you.
Wow.
You will be a testament to my power and grace, even in the midst of your imperfections.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
Okay, so we had this incredible high point at Bethel,
Right.
this covenant renewal and transformation into Israel.
Totally.
But then, as they continue their journey,
Oh.
tragedy strikes.
Yeah.
Rachel, Jacob's beloved wife, dies, giving birth to their second son. It feels like such a sudden shift
It does.
from the celebratory atmosphere of Bethel.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder that even in the midst of divine blessings,
Mm-hmm.
life is fragile and unpredictable.
Yeah,
This is where the narrative takes a deeply poignant turn,
it does.
highlighting the human side of this epic story.
Okay.
It brings us face to face with the raw emotions of grief,
Right.
loss, and the fleeting nature of life.
That's heartbreaking, especially the detail about Rachel naming her son Benoni,
Yeah,
meaning son of my sorrow, before she dies.
I know.
You can feel the weight of her grief,
You can.
the pain of a life cut short.
And then we see Jacob choosing to rename him Benjamin,
Right.
meaning son of the right hand.
Oh, wow.
What a powerful gesture of resilience.
Yeah.
It's acknowledging the pain of loss,
Yeah.
yet choosing to focus on the hope represented by this new life.
It's like he's finding a way to honor Rachel's memory, while also holding on to a sense of purpose for the future.
Exactly.
And speaking of the future, the text goes on to list all 12 sons of Jacob.
It does.
What is the significance of this list?
This list isn't just a genealogical detail. It's
Right.
laying the groundwork for the entire structure of the nation of Israel.
Wow.
Each son represents a lineage that will develop into a distinct tribe,
Oh, wow.
each with its own character and destiny.
So we're seeing the seeds of a nation being sown.
We are.
The 12 branches that will grow from the roots of Jacob's family tree.
Absolutely.
It's amazing to think that these 12 individuals,
Yeah.
born into a family filled with drama and divine intervention,
Yeah.
will become the ancestors of an entire nation.
It's a crazy.
Their stories,
Right.
their personalities, their strengths and weaknesses
Mhm.
will all contribute to the tapestry of Israel's history.
Exactly. And it all stems from Jacob's journey,
Yeah,
his encounters with God,
right?
his choices, his losses.
Yeah. His triumphs.
It's really quite something.
His life, in all its complexity, becomes the foundation upon which the story of Israel will unfold.
And speaking of legacy,
Yes.
the chapter concludes with Jacob returning to his father Isaac,
Right.
who dies at the age of 180.
Wow.
It feels like a poignant passing of the torch.
Yeah. What does this moment represent for Jacob?
I don't know.
Well, this is a major turning point for Jacob.
Okay.
It marks the end of an era,
Yeah.
the closing of Isaac's chapter in the family saga,
Mhm.
but it also signals the beginning of Jacob's full inheritance of the patriarchal mantle.
Right.
He's stepping into the role that his grandfather Abraham
Wow.
and his father Isaac held before him.
It must be a moment of immense responsibility,
It is.
knowing that he now carries the weight of this legacy on his shoulders.
Yeah.
He's not just a son grieving his father.
Right.
He's the patriarch, the leader,
He is.
the one responsible for carrying forward the promises and the covenant that have been passed down through generations. You're right. It's a moment of both grief and empowerment.
Yeah.
The realization that the future of his family and ultimately the future of Israel
Yeah.
now rests in his hands.
We've covered so much ground already.
We have.
We've seen Jacob journey back to Bethel,
Yeah.
transform into Israel,
Right?
experience the joy of new life,
Mm-hmm.
and the crushing blow of loss,
It's a what?
and finally step into the role of patriarch.
Wow. Yeah.
It's been a roller coaster of emotions and pivotal events.
And this is just the beginning.
I know.
The story of Jacob and his descendants is far from over.
I bet.
There are more challenges,
Yeah.
more triumphs,
Then
more
can't-
twists and turns ahead.
Oh, I can't wait.
But for now, I think it's time for a pause.
Yeah.
A moment to reflect on what we've discovered so far.
Okay, let's take a breath and come back to this in part 2.
Sounds good.
Because this story,
Oh, yeah.
it's just getting started.
I
Welcome
know.
back.
It's amazing
Yeah, right.
how much we uncovered in just that first part.
Yeah. Our deep dive into Genesis 35.
From Jacob's return to Bethel
Right.
and transformation into Israel
Uh-huh.
to the poignant death of Rachel and the passing of the patriarchal torch from Isaac to Jacob.
Wow.
It feels like we've traversed lifetimes in just a few verses.
It's a testament to the narrative's power.
Yeah.
We're witnessing not just personal journeys,
Right.
but the very foundation of a nation being laid all within a single chapter.
I'm curious, what stood out to you most
Oh.
from that first section? What really grabbed your attention?
For me, it's the interplay between the divine and the human.
Oh, okay.
On one hand, you have these grand pronouncements from God,
Mm-hmm.
promises of land,
Yeah.
descendants,
Right.
blessings, pronouncements that shape the course of history.
Wow.
And on the other, you have the raw emotional reality of Jacob's life, his love for Rachel, his grief,
Right.
the complexities of his family.
Yeah.
It's that blend of the extraordinary and the ordinary.
Yeah. That makes this story feel so timeless.
It makes you realize that faith isn't some abstract concept.
It's not.
It's woven into the fabric of our everyday lives,
Yeah.
into our joys and sorrows,
Yeah.
our relationships and challenges.
Absolutely.
So we left off with the death of Isaac
Yes.
and Jacob stepping into the role of patriarch.
Big shoes to fill.
What happens next in the saga?
Well, as often happens in families, things get a little complicated.
Oh.
After Isaac's death, the narrative shifts to an incident involving Reuben,
Yeah.
Jacob's eldest son,
Mm-hmm.
and Bilhah, who is Rachel's maidservant and Jacob's concubine.
This is where things get delicate.
Yeah.
We're dealing with a different cultural context here.
Right.
One far removed from our own, and it's important to navigate this sensitively.
Absolutely. We need to understand the social norms and power dynamics of the time before drawing any judgments.
Yeah.
The text simply states that Reuben lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard about it.
Okay.
The exact nature of this encounter is open to interpretation.
What do you mean?
Well, some scholars believe it was a sexual relationship,
Right.
while others suggest it might have been a symbolic act of power or rebellion.
Regardless of the specifics, it's clear that this caused a major rift in the family.
Without a doubt, this act violated societal norms
Yeah.
and disrupted the delicate balance within the household.
Wow.
While Jacob's immediate reaction isn't explicitly described here,
Okay.
we can only imagine the sense of betrayal and anger he must have felt.
And it's going to have repercussions, right?
It is.
I recall from later chapters that Reuben loses his birthright because of this.
Exactly. This incident foreshadows future conflicts and divisions among the 12 sons of Jacob.
Oh, wow.
It reminds us that even within a chosen family,
Mm-hmm.
there will be jealousy,
Right.
rivalry, and consequences for actions that disrupt the established order.
It's almost like a microcosm of the larger conflicts that will play out as the narrative continues.
It is.
It's like each event, each interaction ripples outward, impacting not just the individuals involved, but the future generations and the course of history.
It's a powerful reminder that even seemingly small choices
Yeah.
can have far-reaching consequences.
So we've got this intense family drama unfolding,
We do.
but it's important to remember
Mm-hmm.
that this is still ultimately a story about faith and legacy.
Yes.
How do those themes continue to play out in this chapter, even amidst the turmoil?
That's a great observation. Even amidst the turmoil, we see glimpses of God's continued presence in Jacob's life.
Okay.
Right after the incident with Reuben,
Yeah.
the text lists all 12 sons of Jacob,
Uh-huh.
emphasizing the fulfillment of God's promise to make him a great nation.
It's almost like a subtle reassurance,
It is.
a reminder that even when things get messy, God's plan is still unfolding.
Precisely. The listing of the 12 sons serves as a reaffirmation of the covenant.
Okay.
Despite the challenges and setbacks,
Right.
God's promise to Abraham, Isaac, and now Jacob is being fulfilled.
Yeah.
A nation is being born, and it's happening right before our eyes.
It strikes me that God's plans often unfold in unexpected ways.
They do.
Jacob's family history is filled with twists and turns.
It is.
Yet through it all, we see God's purposes being accomplished.
That's a crucial point. It challenges our human tendency to want everything to be neat and tidy.
Yeah,
God's ways are often mysterious,
they are.
and his timeline rarely aligns with our own.
I know.
But as we look back, we can see how he weaves together even the most seemingly disparate events
Right.
to achieve his ultimate purpose.
Yeah.
It's a reminder to trust in his sovereignty even when we don't fully understand what he's doing.
And that trust, that unwavering faith,
Yes.
is what seems to sustain Jacob through all the ups and downs of his life.
Right.
He clings to the promises God has made,
He does.
even when circumstances seem bleak.
Yeah.
And in the end, he witnesses the fulfillment of those promises, seeing his family grow and expand.
You're absolutely right. There's a powerful lesson there for us, isn't there?
Yeah.
About holding on to hope, about trusting in a bigger plan, even when we can't see the path ahead clearly.
So we've talked about the family drama,
Yes.
the divine promises,
Uh-huh.
and the weight of legacy.
Yeah.
What else should we consider as we continue our deep dive into this chapter?
I think it's important to notice the recurring theme of journey.
Okay.
Throughout this chapter, Jacob and his family are constantly on the move.
Right.
They travel from Shechem to Bethel, then on to Ephrath, finally to Mamre.
Okay.
Each location holds a certain significance representing different stages in their faith and development as a family.
It's almost like a physical manifestation of their spiritual journey.
It is.
They're not just moving from one place to another.
Right.
They're being shaped and transformed by the experiences they encounter along the way.
Exactly. The constant movement highlights the idea that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
Oh, now.
It reminds us that faith isn't a static state.
Right.
It's an ongoing process of growth,
Yeah.
transformation, and discovery.
Yeah.
And that process often involves challenges, setbacks, and detours.
It does.
But it's through those experiences that we learn, grow, and ultimately draw closer to God.
So where does all of this leave Jacob and his family as we move into the next chapter of their story?
They're poised on the brink of a new era.
Right.
The patriarch, Isaac, is gone.
Right.
And Jacob has fully embraced his role as leader. His family is growing.
Yeah.
And the 12 sons who will become the foundation of the nation of Israel are coming of age.
Wow.
But as we've seen, there are also challenges ahead.
There are.
The seeds of conflict have been sown,
Yeah.
and the road ahead is likely to be just as tumultuous as the journey that brought them to this point.
It sounds like we have a lot more to unpack.
We do.
But for now, let's take a break and come back to this in part 3,
Okay.
where we'll delve even deeper into the implications of what we've discovered so far.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Genesis 35.
It's been quite a journey
It has been.
with Jacob and his family so far.
From that pivotal return to Bethel and the transformation into Israel to the heartbreaking loss of Rachel
Oh, yeah.
and the passing of the patriarchal torch from Isaac to Jacob.
So much has happened.
I know.
We've witnessed the highs and lows of a life intertwined with divine purpose.
Yeah.
A reminder that faith isn't just a concept.
Right.
It's a lived experience woven into the fabric of our joys and sorrows.
So as we wrap up this exploration,
Okay.
I'd love to shift our focus to the broader implications of this chapter.
Right.
What lasting lessons can we glean from Jacob's story about faith, family, and the legacy we leave behind?
Well, let's start with faith.
Okay.
We've seen Jacob wrestle with God, experience moments of doubt and fear,
Right.
even bargain with the divine.
Yeah.
Yet ultimately, his commitment to the covenant remains steadfast.
Okay.
What strikes me is that his faith isn't portrayed as this unwavering certainty.
Right.
It's messy,
Yeah.
dynamic, a process of grappling with the divine, which makes it all the more relatable to our own human experiences.
It's like those times when we question,
Yeah.
we struggle, maybe even feel a little angry or frustrated with God. Do you think those moments of wrestling actually strengthen our faith?
Oh, that's a profound question.
Yeah.
I think it can be both, honestly.
Okay.
Those moments of wrestling force us to confront our doubts,
Yeah.
our fears, even our anger,
Right.
but they also offer an opportunity to deepen our relationship with God. It's in those raw, honest conversations, even the ones filled with frustration,
Yeah.
that we often discover a more authentic faith, one that's rooted in genuine relationship rather than blind acceptance.
So it's not about denying the doubts,
No.
but wrestling with them.
Yeah.
Engaging in that dialogue with the divine,
Exactly.
even when it's uncomfortable.
And that's precisely what we see with Jacob.
Yeah.
He questions, he challenges, he even argues with God at times.
Oh.
But through it all, he never completely abandons his belief in the covenant,
Right.
in the promises passed down through generations.
Okay.
And ultimately, it's that persistent faith,
Yeah.
that refusal to give up,
Uh-huh.
that sustains him through the darkest of times.
Now let's talk about family.
Okay.
Jacob's story is certainly filled with complex relationships,
It is, yep.
rivalries,
Yeah.
and even betrayals.
It's a reminder that family isn't always picture perfect.
Right.
And I think Jacob's story challenges us to embrace the messy reality of family,
Okay.
to move beyond idealized notions
Yeah.
and grapple with the complexities that inevitably arise within any close-knit group.
Despite the dysfunction,
Mm.
there's also a deep sense of loyalty within Jacob's family.
Yeah.
Even when the brothers fight or scheme against each other,
Right.
there's an underlying bond that ties them together.
You're right. And it makes you think about our own definitions of family.
Yeah.
It's not just about bloodlines or shared genetics. It's about the bonds of love, commitment, and shared experience that connect us
Yeah.
through good times and bad.
It's those connections,
Yeah.
those relationships
Right.
that shape our legacies, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Legacy isn't just about individual accomplishments.
Okay.
It's about the impact we have on others, the
Mhm.
values we pass down,
Right.
the love we give, the stories we share.
And in Jacob's case, his personal legacy is intertwined with the destiny of an entire nation.
It is.
His struggles, his triumphs,
Yeah.
his very human flaws,
Right.
they all play a role in shaping the future of Israel.
It's a powerful reminder that our lives are interconnected.
Okay.
What we do today, how we treat others, the choices we make, they all ripple outwards, impacting not only ourselves,
Yeah.
but those around us and the generations to come.
Ah.
We're all part of a larger narrative, contributing to a tapestry that extends far beyond our own individual experiences.
As we wrap up our deep dive, what's the one big takeaway you hope listeners will glean from Jacob's story?
For me, it's the power of resilience.
Oh, wow.
Jacob faced incredible adversity throughout his life.
Yeah.
Family betrayals, personal loss, intense spiritual wrestling. But he never gave up.
He didn't.
He kept moving forward, clinging to his faith.
Right.
And in the end, he witnessed the fulfillment of God's promises.
It's an inspiring message for us all.
It is.
A reminder that even when life throws us curveballs,
Yeah,
even when we face those inevitable moments of doubt and despair,
right.
we have the capacity to persevere, to keep growing,
We do.
to trust in something larger than ourselves.
I love that.
So as we leave this deep dive into Genesis 35,
Okay.
I want to thank you for joining us.
It's been great being here.
And until next time, keep exploring,
Absolutely.
keep questioning,
Yes.
and keep discovering those extraordinary truths hidden within the everyday.
I love it.